Hi, it's Matt at Roughhouse Studios, and welcome to Cannabasics. Today, we're going to be making fresh, homemade dabs with the T-Rex Rosin Press. We're going to be using the T-Rex Rosin Press today, along with some 5-inch raw parchment papers and about 1/8 of cannabis, but you can press whatever amount of cannabis that you have. The first step that we're going to do is to actually set up and turn on the rosin press machine. Now the T-Rex Rosin Press is like a clamshell lid that's got 2 heated plates inside of it that's going to let us create a lot of pressure and heat to press the rosin. If you don't have one of these, you can pick one up at wizardpuff.com. Save 10% off of anything there with the code Cannabasics. And once you turn the device on, it's going to flash so that you can set the temperature. And we're using a Celsius device here, so all of our temperatures are in Celsius, and we're doing our first one at 135 degrees Celsius. And once you set the temperature, you press the button one time and the light will be solid and it'll heat up. And while that's heating up, we're going to go ahead and prepare our parchment papers. Now in order to do that, all you really need to do is just to fold it in half. Now you could also use some the micron screen bags along with the parchment paper, but we found it's not really necessary when you're pressing this small amount. But if you do use them, it will keep out some of the plant materials that you might end up with. And also you want to make sure you take out any stems. You can see we put about a 1/4 to 1/2 gram bud in there, but it had a big stem in it. So I want to take that stem out of the bud. And it is best to keep the buds in intact nugs if possible, but if you have stems, you did want to take those out. Okay, once you have it inside the pouch and you're ready to press it, and make sure that your machine is up to heat, but be careful because it is hot. And then keep this cannabis as close to the center of the press as you can, and then apply pressure. And I'm using just thumb pressure at the beginning here, and you can feel it heating and melting and kind of flattening out as you do that. And then you're going to feel the device kind of hit bottom. And once you get to that point, you can take the heel of your hands and start applying more and more pressure. And we are trying to squeeze out the rosin or the THC, the terpenes, and the oils out of that cannabis. So for about 30 seconds, I've been applying pressure here. I've time-lapsed a little bit. And now, after about 30 seconds of putting force, also you want to make sure you have a very strong table. Do not do this on a glass coffee table or anything that might break. You could do it on the ground or a really strong table. Okay, but this you can open up and you see that the oils have squirted out all around. I've got nice little piles of resin all around the bud. Okay, so now we're going to continue on pressing out our cannabis. And throughout this, we're going to vary the amount of cannabis, the way we put it in there. We're going to vary the temperatures that we use, and we're also going to vary the pressing time that we use from 20 to 30 seconds. At this point, we've put the temperature down to 125 degrees. We're going to go a little bit lower the first time. And this press we did for about 30 seconds. And we noticed on these lower temperatures, the 135 and the 125, and then we're going on a third one all the way down to 115 degrees. That we noticed on these lower temperature presses that we got not as much yield, but we got a lot clearer, or not a lot clearer, but there was a little bit difference in the clarity. It was almost transparent, the wax down at this level. And although the yield wasn't as high as we'll get to here in a second, it was still a very clear, very pure, and in the end, it also very tasty. Okay, so now on this last couple of, we've raised the machine up to 150 degrees. So we're at our highest setting here. And we used a smaller nug this time, and we pressed it for about 25 seconds. And I think that we got a little bit better yield off of using the smaller nugs and also the higher temperature. And one difference in the wax from the higher press or the higher temperature pressings was that it seemed to be just a tiny bit darker and a little more noticeable on the paper. And also, as I said, I think we got our highest yields, even not even the fact that we used the smaller nugs, but still it was the most amount of wax on these 2 smaller but hotter pressings. And so now we have pressed everything, we've got everything labeled, and the next step is going to be to scrape it and see what we have. Now when it comes to scraping, you want to be really careful, and I've got a rounded dab tool. If you have a tool that's got a sharp edge, you might find that you end up cutting your paper and kind of making a mess. So I've got kind of a smooth, rounded dab tool, and I'm just gently scraping along the top of the paper, collecting the wax. And as you collect the wax, you'll notice that the wax itself will help you collect it. And I'm doing this one parchment at a time, starting with the lowest temperature. And so this is the 115 degree dab right here. And you can see it's a really nice looking wax. It's not a lot of wax, but it was really nice, clear, and kind of pure looking. And we didn't use the microns greenback, so we do have occasional little specks of plant material in here, but these are just homemade dabs to do right away. If you were using the commercial use, you would make sure you filter those out. But there are 2 lower temperature dabs there you can see are very clear, golden, just the kind of wax that you would want to get when you bought it from the store. It also had a nice smell too. And then we're moving on now. We've got to our 2 the smaller dabs that we pressed, but the hotter temperature, and you can see they actually turned out bigger. And here's the biggest dab of all right here, that last pressing of that one small nug at 150 Celsius for about 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds, and it yielded our best dab of all of them. And so now here's the findings that I found today with the Ataric press, is that 1/4 to 1/3 the smaller nugs worked best. The highest setting, 150 degrees, produced the most but slightly darker yields. 20 to 30 second time was good, and you could use the screen bags, but I really don't think it's necessary when you're just going to do the dabs just right away like we are here, and you're not making them commercially. They're delicious. I really like doing dabs this way. You can be certain that you're not getting any kind of chemicals or butane or any kind of processing other than a little bit of heat and pressure and time. And you may find that if you're a commercial wax maker or something, you could get better yields in other methods. But for a homemade wax making, I think this is just a fun, simple, and sort of safe way to do it. And I really highly recommend it if you don't have one. And like I said, you could also use a hair press for this. If you don't have a rosin press machine, you can check out some of our previous videos and see how you do that. But also you could get one of these rosin press at Wizard Puff and other places. If you get it at Wizard Puff, please use the code Cannabasics there and you can save 10% off everything. I'll put some links in the description for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make homemade rosin press dabs. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to Roughhouse Studios for more cannabis culture videos made just for you. This is Matt. Thanks for watching.